All right. In theory. There we go. Oh, woo. Don't look yet. That's later. Don't look there. All right. So there, I did add a Bitmoji library to the end of this lesson. So my friends at home, I'm going to ask them to go and click on one of the books and enjoy one of the books. And I'm not sure how much time we'll have here, but if we end up ending a little early, Mrs. Aubin, depending on what time it is, I might let some of your friends go ahead and go to use their computers as well. But I kind of think we won't have as much time to do that probably. So we'll see how it goes. But I will allow it for us to, if we have time, to go to the Bitmoji library for today's assignment. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I'm not 100% done with it yet, but I'm pretty pleased with how it looks for right now. I still need to get Miss Aubin's Bitmoji in there too, but I just couldn't wait for you to use it. So, all right, overcoming learning challenges near and far. What places have we learned about so far besides just, here? Good. Chad? Not India, but close, not different continent. But yep, Chad, which is in Africa, and Cole? Colombia. Who remembers what continent Colombia is on? Abby? South America. Very good. So here we have that little map up there of all those different kind of flags that they have up, different flags that they use for the different countries. So we know that we are learning about all kinds of things here and far away, and the challenges that other people have in other places that have to do with learning. Today, our learning targets are to, okay, because it probably is making noise. Thank you. So our learning target today is I can write short constructed responses to answer questions about my reading. There's some full-on words there for sure. So yesterday we broke down a couple of words. We broke down constructed into its prefix and its root word and its suffix. Do you remember those? So before we kind of remember about that, let's talk about what a response is. My friends here who are at home, you can see the word response. What is a response, do you think? What is that word mean? Response. Response. What do you think a response is? Think about where you might have heard that word in the past. Response. Nixon, what do you think?
If it's like if you tell someone, they'll respond to you, like they'll tell you what it is.
Okay, so if you ask them a question, they'll give you what? Information or an answer, right? They'll give you an answer. So if I ask you a question, I'm looking for a response, an answer. Somebody ask me a question. Any question? Yeah. Ask me a question. Any question? Any question? Mrs. Lind, you have a question?
Why do you have to ask them?
Because this one helps me talk a little clearer. But I have this one because this one's more comfortable for the rest of the day.
Sometimes I find myself with a few of them.
Yeah.
I go, oh, I need one, and I put one on, and I take it off.
Because this one hurts my ears. After a while, at the end of the day, my ears hurt. So my response was that I have two masks because one is easier to talk and one is easier to wear the rest of the time. Who else can ask me a question so I can respond or give a response? Gosh, I always want to get it right. So that's why I wait. Marin. What's my favorite animal? Ooh. Real animal or okay, because it matters because like I'm a big Muppet fan, so like animal is my favorite animal. The Muppet guy, but I'm very fond of penguins. I think penguins are pretty awesome. So my response, my answer was penguins. Okay, so we have questions, we have responses. So today you're going to make a response. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be answering a question. So constructed, who remembers what oh, little Robert Westwood is waiting to get in. I got him. I got Robert. No, I just got him. All right, so constructed. How many syllables syllables are in constructed? How many syllables did you hear? Everybody clap with me. Constructed. How many syllables did you show me with your fingers? How many? Lucas? 3. So we have 3 syllables, and yesterday we broke it into our prefix, our root, and our suffix. Yesterday we did that, and we looked at, and does anybody remember what con meant yesterday in our prefixes? Who remembers con? Oh, my friends at home, my friends in class are like, ooh, let's look at our affix list. You guys remember? That was on page 9, 10, and 11. Do you remember what con meant? Con meant, writer? No? All right, Elena? Together, with, together. What did struct mean? Struct. That was our root word, struct. What was that? What did that mean? Paxton? To build. Very good. So we had all those words that had struct in it. Construction, destruction, all those kind of words that had to do with building. What does that suffix ed mean? What does that suffix mean? Haley? Yes, excellent example. And why do we put it at the end of the, how does it change the root word when we add it to the end? Ah, well, before, right? So what do we call that? Do you remember, Noah, from yesterday? Past tense, exactly. So constructed. So today we are going to write a constructed response. So what do you think we're going to do? What are we going to do? Think about what we're going to do. Constructed response. If constructed means to build together, response we just talked about, what do you think it's going to tell us? Abby? Okay. Ooh, you're very close. Well, we are going to work together to make some sentence, definitely a sentence, but even more than one sentence, because we're going to make a what, Elena? We're going to make a response, which is another word for answer. So together we are going to write some sentences that are an answer to a question. What kind of word, vocabulary word is response? Is it an academic word, do you think? Or is it a topical word, do you think? What do you think response is? Yeah, I would love if somebody at home would raise their hand. Uh-oh, hey friends at home, gotta be, oh, I guess Lila's hands up. Lila, what do you think? Is it gonna be academic vocabulary or topical, do you think? Oh, I can't hear her. It's because she has her headphones on. Oh, Miss Lila, remember that headphone problem?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I think it's a topical word.
Okay, so is it only a word we're going to use for one subject, or do you think we have responses in all kinds of subjects? Could you have a math response?
A lot.
It's something that we're going to do in a lot of areas. So instead of topical, it's going to be academic, because we use it all, we can use it in many situations. So that'll go up on my academic board. So today we're going to answer a question, building sentences together. So later we are going to ask you to construct a response on your own, but today we're working together. All right. So we're going to answer a question about Rain School. And we're going to answer a question about Rain School by using what we call a short constructed response. So you notice the word short in there. Are we looking for paragraph after paragraph after paragraph? No, because it's going to be short. It's a short thing, but it isn't just one sentence either. Okay, so when in the future, when Mrs. Aubin and I say, write a short constructed response, then we want you to write 2 or 3 sentences that would answer the question. So what we're going to answer today is, in Rain School, what was the lesson and how was it conveyed through the details in the text? And we used a page in our workbook. I see Elena's already trying to figure it out, what page she's got to be on. So we on page 8. And so my friends at home, I'll actually show you the teacher version of this. But on page 8, we wrote down some details that were about the lesson and how the author told us what that lesson was going to be. So on our note catcher, we wrote 4 different details down and 4 different, in fact, here it is right here for my friends at home. Let me move my, gotcha. Okay, and oh, I have a, somewhere, Mrs. Avon, oh, I probably don't have it just at my fingertips. I have the version that I wrote. I think I put them away in my heel stuff, but I have a written form of that if they need it. Okay. Yes. All right. So in Rain School, what was the lesson or message and how was it conveyed through details in the text? So the great thing about having a note catcher is that you can use it again later. That's the whole point of it, is that, so we wrote down some ideas and now we're going to use those ideas to come up with some sentences. So they have a sentence starter here, but I just want to look over, what were those details? Well, the teacher told them they would build the school and they'd be the first lesson. And by having a lesson, what did lesson tell them? Sunny? Well, and when the teacher called it a lesson, they knew that they were going to do what? Learn something, right? They're going to learn something if it's a lesson. And then they learned how to make mud bricks and dry them in the sun. Then they learned building skills. Then they learned how to build the walls and desks, and they learned how to work together. And then they learned to build a roof, which was, again, something that they could use for their future, right? All right, so before we actually write our short constructed responses, we know that for the short constructed responses, we have to use what's called a sentence. So some of us have gotten a little bit, I know at least in my friends, that sometimes they're just writing part of a sentence and not a complete sentence. So part of what we're going to learn today are the components of a complete sentence. We have a subject and we have a predicate. We have 2 parts. The subject is the beginning of the sentence. Usually, it's not always, but it's usually the who the sentence is about or the what the sentence is about. So in this case, the noun or noun phrase or a pronoun like I or he or she. So in this case, in this sentence, Thomas learned to make mud bricks. Who is the subject of our sentence? Who is the sentence about? Oh, Madison, way in the corner. Thomas. It's Thomas. So Thomas is our subject and our predicate. Oh, did I put this slide in there? Oh, no, I didn't. Darn. There was a good slide that did everything for me. Darn. I'm going to have to actually underline things myself. I forgot to put that other slide in there. All right. So predicate. Oh, Mrs. Avon, I'm having that same problem you were having the other day. Where it flips over to the predicate is what is going on in the sentence. It's the verb or the verb phrase. So what is Thomas doing in that sentence? The verb is the doing part of the sentence. Charlie? He learned, he's building a school. So in this case, it's learn to make mud bricks. So Thomas, who? Predicate, learn to make mud bricks. What if we left out Thomas? What if we left out that part of the sentence? Would the sentence make sense? No. What? It wouldn't make very much sense if we left out the subject. The predicate, what if it just said Thomas learned? What would you be wondering if it just said Thomas learned? What would you be wondering, Ellie? What he learned. So the predicate has to be the whole thing, the whole idea about what or who the sentence is about. So learn to make mud bricks. So he learned what? To make mud bricks. That whole part is our predicate. So there's the who or the what is the subject. Then there's the predicate, which is telling what action or more information about the subject. We're going to practice a bunch of these. right here, because I got to get rid of my little, I have a really hard time knowing where to put my little Zoom thing there. All right, so I'm going to leave my friends for just a minute. Hopefully they can still hear me. Oh, not there in my microphone. All right, so which part of this sentence is the subject? So those of you at home, I want you raising your hand for this part. Add in. So the first sentence is Anna and her brother lived on a house on the hill. All right, so everybody give me a thumbs up when you think you know what the subject is. What the subject is, and maybe somebody at home will give me the subject. Oh,
They can write it in the chat.
they can write it in the chat. That's because that's pretty short in this case. The predicates are going to be hard to write down in the chat.
Right, but go ahead and write the subject.
I wonder if this is going to work for me today. Oh, it is going to work for me. Who thinks they know what our subject is? My friends in the chat? No. Go for it too. No, nobody in the chat. All right, I'm looking for thumbs up. Okay. Anna and her brother lived on a house on the hill. Who is the sentence about? It's the who or the what? Paxton? Anna and her brother. I'm glad you said that. Anna and her brother. Because we can't leave out her brother, right? Oh, I can't. Oh, boy. Friends, any better now? Well, my friends at home, any better now? All right. Hopefully he can, I'll try to couple up the microphone. All right. Alpha and, okay, so Anna and her brother lived on a house on the hill. So what is our predicate then? What's the predicate for our sentence? That's the what are the subjects doing, or the information about the subject? Uh-oh. So there's a subject and a predicate. If we have the subject underlined, what should be the predicate? The whole rest, right? So Cooper, what's the rest? Yes. What did the brother and sister do? They lived on a house on the hill. That is the information we need. Could we have been okay with lived? Oh, it should be lived in a house. It should be lived in a house on the hill. No, I tell you, can't get good help these days with those teachers. It needs to be in instead of on. Lived in a house on the hill. All right. So could it be just lived in a house? It could be, but in this book, it was lived in a house on the hill behind a tree. But I didn't put that part there. All right. Alpha, I know, I said I made a mistake. That's all right. Alpha and Beta ate the hay while the man read a book. What do you think is the subject of that sentence? Noah, what do you think? Alpha and Beta. They're the two friends, the Burrows, right? And then what did they do? What's the rest of the sentence? The predicate. The rest of the sentence. Max. Very good. The whole rest. Ate the hay while the man read a book. Now, we could have two sentences there. We could say Alpha and Beta ate the hay. The man read a book. But in this sentence, that predicate is the whole rest. But if we had two sentences, then we'd have a new subject and predicate. If that was two sentences, but it's just one. All right, my friends at home, you can do this. What is the next one? Thomas was excited to go to school. What is the subject of that sentence? Give me a thumbs up or a hand up when you know. The subject. Who is that sentence about? Who is that sentence about? Anybody at home, my friend? Anybody? Clara. All right, Clara. You want to unmute and tell us what the subject is?
It's about Thomas.
Thomas. The sentence is about Thomas. Yay. Awesome. Very nice. Who was that?
Logan Peter.
Logan. Nice job. All right. So what's the predicate then? Did you notice that the predicate seems to be everything else? Everything else, right? The predicate is everything else. All right, so everybody's hand should be up because you can read the rest of that sentence, right? What's the rest of that sentence for me? Henrik. Right here. Okay, so we have the Thomas is the subject, right? So it's just the rest of it. Was excited to go to school. And then who was excited to go to school? Thomas. Thomas is, because that's our subject. It's the who or what the sentence is about. If we leave that information, then we don't have all of our, we have to have our subject. All right, this one, see if you can figure this one out. The country of Chad is in Central Africa. This one's a little tricky. I had to make it a little harder than just a couple names. But what is this sentence about? Anybody at home have any ideas what the subject was? Get my challenge that I got here? Anybody know? All right, Max has a thumb and a hand up. So Max, what do you think? Very good. The country of Chad. We didn't trick you, Max. Very nice. Okay, so excellent. Very nice. The country of Chad is in Central Africa. So we could have just said the country is in Central Africa, or we could say Chad is in Central Africa, but the whole subject is the country of Chad. All right, what's the predicate then? We've got the predicate. I've got a couple of friends over here whose eyes are not on the board. So it's hard to read if their eyes are not on the board. Oh, I got more hands. This is good. This is good. All right. What do you think? August, what do you think? Oh, you forgot. All right. Charlie Carr. Is in Central Africa. Very good. Now, is the country of Chad doing something? So sometimes the predicate isn't always about doing. Like Anna and her brother lived. Alpha and Beta ate. Sometimes the sentences describe the subject as well. So like was excited to go to school. Thomas isn't doing something, but he is telling how he is. He was excited. Country of Chad is in Central Africa. So sometimes it's doing, sometimes it's not a doing part of the sentence. All right, last one. Notice they got getting a little harder as I go. The last one. The author of Rain School based the book on a real school. The author of Rain School based the book on a real school. Anybody at home?
Logan Peters has part of it, but not the
Okay, Logan, you got part of it.
Ben has his hand up.
All right, Ben, unmute. Give it a try.
It's the author of Rain School.
Perfect. The author of Rain School. Yay! We did not trick you, Ben. Good job. The author of Rain School. Because which author? The author of Rain School. There are a lot of authors, right? So we didn't even know which one. So everybody should be able to tell me the predicate. Are you ready for everybody together? A microphone answer? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Based the book on a real school. Very nice. Predicate. There's a whole rest of the sentence. Now, if we didn't have one of those pieces, our sentences would not make sense. So when we're writing a short constructed response, we have to make sure that our sentences, oh, am I going to have to erase? I am, aren't I?
Yeah, for
Every slide.
I learned that.
Get it? That's right. And then I always find some bits later on my computer somewhere, little ink bits. All right. So based on that information, we also have some guidelines of when we write a short constructor response. We've got to write complete sentences with a subject and a predicate. We just went over that. We have to make sure that we know what the question is asking and make sure that we follow, that our answer goes with the question. If Mrs. Woodland had asked me about why I had masks, more than one mask, and I told her about my dog at home, would she appreciate that response? No, because she asked a particular question. She wants the answer to go with that question, not that my dog at home, woke me up early this morning. Those two things don't go together. So you have to make sure that you know what the question is asking. Now, we're going to look at the question. So the question over here is, in Rain School, what was the lesson and how was it conveyed through details in the text? What do you notice about the word details? What suffix does it have? Details. What do you notice at the end of the word details? Sunny? That does have tail in it, you're right. I'm looking for just the ending though, just the suffix. What do you notice, Haley? That there's an S on it. What does the S tell us? Why did they put an S on the end? Abby? There's more than one. So if it asks, how was it conveyed? Through details in the text. Do they want us just to write one? No, they want us to write more than one because details tells us more than one. So when Mrs. Aubin and I ask you to write sentences and an S on the end, we want more than one, right? So in this case, in the question, it says what details they want us to add more than one. And that's important because sometimes when Mrs. Aubin and I give a test, it asks for you to do more than one thing, and we can't give you full credit if you don't do the whole answer, if you don't add more than one, if there's an S on it. We try to point it out, but sometimes they trick us. All right, so we're going to look at this question one more time. In Rain School, what was the lesson? So we're going to use, there's our question. In Rain School, what was the lesson or message, and how was it conveyed through details in the text? So my friends who are here, you need to be looking at that page 8. So that, because we're going to go back and forth. My friends at home, I want you to look really carefully at the top here. What was the moral or lesson that we were supposed to be learning from Rain School? That was this sentence that's right here. Oh boy. I'm going to fight with that Zoom thing all day long. All right. What does it say in the dark blue? In white there is the lesson that we decided the author was trying to teach us. I got a couple people looking for everybody. Right up at the top, and on your page it's in the black section at the top. I'll give you a hint. It starts with when. Oh, I get getting more hands here. Awesome. Hopefully at home you can find it. Lyric. What is the moral that we were trying to learn? Perfect, Lyric. She said, when working to overcome challenges, we can learn new things. So if we're supposed to answer this question in Rain School, what was the lesson or message? Do we have to answer that part of the question first? Yes. In fact, and then it says, and how was it conveyed through details in the text? Details. I've got to put more than one. Since this is a constructive response, I'm going to need your help to decide what to write on this. So I'll get us started. I'm going to exit out for a minute, use my dot camera, maybe, if it wants to work today. was working fine this morning. There we go. All right. All right, so I'm answering a short constructed response. So I need to tell the person I'm answering the question for what the lesson is. So what words could I start with to start my sentence off? If I'm telling them the lesson, should I say the lesson? No. Yeah, sure can. Start it out very obvious. It asked about the lesson. What do I need at the top? What do I need first in my sentence? Ellie. Capital. So the lesson of, and then which book are we writing about? What did the question ask? Rain School. When we have a title of a book, what do we do? Capitalize it. Rain School. The lesson of Rain School was, and then what do morals or lessons do? What does the author do? They try to teach us something, right? Was to teach us, the reader, right? When, and then look at the top of your page, my friends. What does it say? When working, everybody say it with me. When working. Okay, that was good. We're just gonna do it together now. Ready? When working to, all right. Oh. We can learn new things. Okay, let's go back to the question. Okay, let's go back real quick and see if we answered the first part of the question. In Rain School, what was the lesson or message? Did we get that part done? Check mark that. We got that part done, but are we done with our answer yet?
No.
No. And Mrs. Harrison said that short constructive responses, are they just one sentence?
No.
No. So do we need more answer? Yes, for sure. So it says, and how was it conveyed? Who remembers the word conveyed? For my friends in here, you'll see the word conveyed on the academic vocabulary in yellow. Thank you, Mrs. Aubin. That one's already up there. So conveyed, what does conveyed mean? It has ED on it. So it's past tense. Anybody can tell me what conveyed means? Charlie's right next to it. He might be able to read it for us. Perfect. Thank you, Charlie. Make an idea understandable. So what did the author do in the book to have us realize that moral, that we learn things when we do stuff? So if you look on page 8, if you go back to this page here, I'm going to pull it up for my friends at home. What could we write as another sentence about what we learned? Use our note catcher. Josh, gotta look at your note catcher for me. Yep, you've got it. You gotta have your eyes on it though, because you're gonna tell me a sentence. What could we write as something the kids learn? What did they learn? Hey, what did they learn? Okay, but do you remember from the story? What did they learn how to do? They built a school. What in particular did they build? Good job. What did they build in particular? What parts exactly? Cole? Mud bricks. Okay. What else did they build? Haley. The roof. The roof is something they built. Very good. You guys all here. They're all of these on the left-hand side. Details from the text. Right here, my friends. So we built mud bricks. We built a roof. What else did we build? Anybody at home? Oops. Sorry, friends at home. I clicked on it. Anybody else know what they learned? Excellent.
and flying will let them, both of them.
Ah, all right, Astrea, let's give you a chance. What else did they learn?
How to build walls.
How to build the walls. Very nice. Excellent. Thank you so much. And anything else, Elena?
Roof out of step, please.
They made the roof out of saplings. Good use of your vocabulary. Nice job, the saplings. Very good. How about, what else did they learn to do instead of just building? What else did they learn? We talked about what else did they learn? It wasn't necessarily something on this list because we had something slightly different on our list. What did they learn? Sunny, do you remember? They learned teamwork. They learned to work together so that they could, you know, they had the big kids, they had the little kids, they had to work together to make the whole school. So now I need to write 2 sentences at least, because I think we learned at least 2 different things. So now I gotta exit out of there. All right, we learned at least 2 different things. So what could we write as 2 more sentences? So I need everybody's help here because this is a constructed response, and constructed means we're building it together, right? You don't need to write it down right now. No, you're good where you are. All right, because you're going to write another constructed response this afternoon a little bit with your story that you're going to be writing, okay? Or with your book that you're going to read. Mrs. Aubin's going to do a lesson about gist, and you're going to have a short constructed response to go with your lesson this afternoon. That I just figured they needed to write everything twice. So, all right, the lesson of Rain School was to teach us when working to overcome challenges, we can learn new things. Okay, but now we need to do details. How did we learn that? What did the author tell us? Sunny, want to give it a try? Okay, all in the story, the author had the students work together to learn about, what'd you call it again, Miss Sunny? Oh, yep, but you said a great word. When everybody works together, they're a team, right? You said teamwork earlier. Nice job. Teamwork. All right. In the story, the author had the students work together to learn about teamwork. All right. What else? Look at your page. Look at page 8. Look at the second part. This is the part now we need over here. Who cares if they learned how to make mud desks? Who cares if they learned how to make a roof? Why was that useful? Lucas. Okay, and it made him, and that was the immediate set. You're right. They got their school built. But Cooper, what else? Then they could also learn how to build something in the future. All right, so let's write that down. All right. Let's see. Okay, by having the students build, what'd they build? Okay, it's not yet, not the whole school. Build what? What part did there were certain parts that we have written on our side. The walls. Build walls, desks, roof, and the roof. Okay, by having the students build walls, desks, and the roof, we could have had, yep. They have skills for, and you guys said it, Cooper said it, for the future. I'll even use my exclamation mark there. All right. The lesson of Rain School was to teach us when working to overcome challenges, we can learn new things. So, okay, I'm going to read it all and then we're going to go back to the question and see if we answered all of the question. In the story, the author had the students work together to learn about teamwork. By having the students build walls, desks, and roof, and the roof, great, sorry, just couldn't see it. They have skills for the future. Do we like that? Did we forget anything? We have the whole idea? Well, let's go back and double check that we actually answered the question. Because my friends, this is a big thing for third graders to be able to do. You have to know, did I write the whole answer to the question? In second grade, you might have gotten away with part of the answer, but in third grade, you got to make sure you get the whole answer. So let's see if we did it. In Rain School, what was the lesson or message? Did we get that? All right, check. How was it conveyed through details in the text? Did we mention details in the text? Yes, what were the details? The part about the mud walls, right? The part about the roof, right? Those are the details that helped us. And it says, how and what did they teach us? Well, those little tiny details helped us realize that we do learn things if we overcome our challenges, right? All right, so let's see what the next, okay, let's see how we feel about this learning target because you're going to use it later. All right, you're going to use this learning target later today, except for it's going to be about your books and your book box, okay? I can write a short constructed response to answer questions about my reading book. It says research reading text, but you're just going to use your books in there. Do we feel like if Mrs. Aubin gave you a question, you could write a couple sentences to answer it? Would you use your capitals? Would you use your periods? Are you going to answer, are you going to just write one sentence? Are you going to write 10 sentences? No, short, right? Short constructive response. So 2 to 3 sentences will usually answer your question. How many sentences did we have? Do you remember? 3. Is that about right? Okay. All right. How about, did we answer the question? We decided we answered the question well? All the parts. Okay. So if you're feeling good about that, you think you could do this this afternoon for your book, give me a thumbs up. Or a side or a, okay, I've got a couple. All right, I got some, I'm not sure's. Okay. Got a couple of you, I'm noting who might need some more help with this. So we're going to have another lesson this afternoon where Mrs. Aubin's going to give you another example of how to answer that question. But I want to show you what I also have for you because I have just enough time. So my friends at home, do you see our Bitmoji classroom? Okay, I need a little Mrs. Aubin as well, but right now I just have a Mrs. Harrison because that's who I had. But on the bookshelves, on the shelves, you are going to see some books and they're going to change and we're going to add some more as time goes on. These are some books that we have in this module about different things, about different people who are learning different things and struggling through learning challenges. And when you click, do you see how when I move my cursor, do you see what it turned into? When it's on top of a book? Is it a little hand? Yeah, it's a little hand. So then when we click on the hand, it's going to take you to a different page. And that different page may look, some of these are some slideshows of the books. And so then you just, the pictures are there and then you can read the book and you can just go this, you can use the arrow or just scroll down. Some of the books look like this. This one's a long one. You can try it out. Or, we're back to here. There are some that are actually read to you, some stories that are read to you because they were a little hard to put in. You can see the books. Is this one of the, oh, this one's not the one read to me. This one I found that if you're gonna see this zoom in section. If you go to if you scroll down, some of the words are hard to read, right? Those are really tiny words, aren't they? But watch what happens when I hit the plus symbol. And then I can move things around. Oh, I think she's my arrow. There we go. So sometimes you have to manipulate it a little bit, but you can end up seeing all those words. And it's the entire book. And then some of them, I gave you the easy way out. And some of them are just movies. You bet. I can take had a different one than I had included. Perfect. Here we go. This one is a movie.
The wise one said, a sango preferred to
All right. So depending on what you click on, it'll take you to all those books.
carry it.
We have some of these books
It is
in our classroom, but we don't have enough for everybody. And my friends at home, we couldn't send them home with you. So this is a way for you to access a whole bunch of different books. And we also have some on Epic. I haven't loaded those Epic ones on there yet, but a lot of different books about learning challenges around the world. Yes, Cooper? Yes, ma'am. All right, so does everybody at home see how they can click on those and they can read those? There's 6 of them for right now. And my friends that are in here in person, you can do the same. We'll have the Bitmoji up that's on this lesson, but I'm also going to add it to a different part of our Google Classroom, so you can come and read some of these books as well. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just end my recording for the moment.